In this video, I'll show you how to play Fast Car, both the Luke Combs and Tracy Chapman versions. I'll show you an easy strumming pattern that sounds great, and I'll cover the more involved fingerstyle main lick. Welcome back to Relax Learn Guitar. I'm Kevin and this is Maggie May. Getting the treats out of the way today. My wife Vicky's behind the camera.
Hello?
Let's get started. So this song was originally done by Tracy Chapman, a major hit for her, and Luke Combs has kind of made it more popular most recently. You guys might have checked out the Grammy appearance, which is getting a lot of buzz. It's wonderful.
And Luke.
Yeah, definitely check it out where they do the song together. It's worth your time. So I'm going to start here with where I would begin if I was a beginner. A little repetitive. So we're going to do just 4 chords. Right now we're going to be kind of concentrating on the Luke Combs version. We'll do that one first, and I'll show you how he approaches it, and then we'll do the Tracy Chapman version. So we're going to put a capo on our 2nd fret for the Luke Combs version. We're going to do we're going to start with a simple nice and mellow. This is where I would begin, especially if you have not really tackled any kind of finger style guitar yet. So 4 chords in this. Well, 5 really. So we have a C chord. But when you lift up your index finger on that C chord, you make a C major 7 chord. Then a G with 4 fingers. An E minor, and a D. For 3 more classic rock songs that sound great on the acoustic guitar, check out the link in the description for my free song lesson bundle. It includes the tablature and the chord charts. You can follow this chord progression for pretty much the entire song, both versions, except for a little bit of a change during the chorus, with just that C to G, to E minor, to D. We're going to spice it up a little bit here. We're going to go with this. So I'm doing there, I would think of this in 2 different sections, kind of part 1 and part 2. Part 1, we're going to focus on the C and the G chord changes, and then the part 2 we'll do the E minor to the D. So for this first part, I'm starting with we're going to go down on a C major 7 chord. So make that C shape, but lift up your index finger, strum down 1 time, then put your index finger back down and strum up, and then strum back down with your index finger up. That's a lot of words to do this. Okay. Then to a D with an up strum. So you have, and then up, down, up, and that's part 1. Then we come to the E minor. We're going to do 2 down strums on the E minor. Then up on a D. Then up, down, up. So the second part is, and it's kind of a quick change, moving from those 2, that 2nd down strum on the E minor to that D change can be a little fast, but Luke Combs slows this whole song down a bit, so feel free to slow your song down too. You have, so from the top we have, and this is not the way they play it on the record, but it works for both versions. You can play that pattern through the entire intro and verse, which makes up like 85% of the song, and sound just fine. If you like this video so far, be sure and click that like button. We would really appreciate it. It helps us out. But if you want to play along with the Luke version on the record, he's doing a little bit of this. So up here we've still got that C major 7 and that G shape. We're just going to be doing some finger style guitar here. We're just going to use 3 our thumb and 2 fingers. Our thumb, Our index and our middle fingers will be the only fingers playing strings. We don't play the high E string at all. I do recommend that you leave your pinky on your pick guard. I do that just to kind of keep track of my hand so it doesn't float around and I get kind of lost a little bit. So for this C chord, which is what we're going to start on, actually a C major 7 chord, we're going to make that C major 7 shape. Remember, it's just the C chord with your index finger up. Thumb is going to pluck the 5th string. Index finger is always going to play the 3rd string. Your ring finger is always going to play the 2nd string. And we're playing all 3 of those strings together. Like that. And as soon as we pluck all 3 together, we're going to hammer down with our index finger onto that 2nd string 1st fret. And that's all relative to this capo. So you have, do that over and over. All right, so after that, we're going to pluck up on strings 2 and 3 open. We'll just build it here. Then you go to that G, 4-finger G shape. Our thumb is going to move to the 6th string of this because the G is a 6-string root. And we're going to play again. We're just going to play string 6, and an index always playing string 3, and middle's always playing string 2. So you have that G chord. So we have that's the beginning. That's part 1 there. Then he slides up here. You're going to be playing with your ring finger onto the 2nd string 8th fret. And again, that's relative to this capo. And you're going to be making this shape. You've got your ring finger on the 2nd string 8th fret. We're going to have an open 3rd string. And our index finger is going to play the 5th string 7th fret. So we're going to be plucking these 3 strings together again. And then you're going to lift up your index finger. You're going to slide your ring finger back 1/2 step to the 7th fret. We're going to play open on the 4th string, open on the 3rd string, and that 7th fret of the 2nd string. And that's a lot of words. It might be easier just to watch what I'm doing here and the follow on the screen here. So his version goes like this. So that's the entire intro and verse. Over and over. Then we have the chorus. The chorus is going to be the same for either version that we're going to play. So we're going to be doing another, guess what? We're going to be doing the same chord progression. C to G to E minor to D for the first part of the chorus. But we're going to do a strum pattern here. So on both these records, the kind of finger style is the intro and verse, and then it kicks into the strumming for the choruses.
Use a pick?
Yeah, I mean,
or finger?
I'll use my pick, but you could go if you're playing this one solo and you're into the. I remember we were driving in your car. You can use your thumb or your fingernail. I'm going to use a pick. So the strum pattern for this is going to be a down, down, up, down, up. Good old faithful. Down, down, up, down, up. Kind of like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the chorus goes C, we were C, to G, to E minor, to D. 1 strum pattern in each of those chords. Then it changes a little bit. We're going to go from a C we're going to go C to E minor, and it's going to share the measure. So we're going to go down, down, but on the up part of the strum pattern, we're going to switch that E minor. So it's pretty quick. This is the I, that part. It sounds just like that too. So we have to D, down, down, up on E minor, to D twice. Then it goes back into the.
So now tell us about Tracy's.
Yeah, hers is a little more involved. So what Luke did, he took her version, he moved his capo down fret. So Tracy Chapman plays on the 2nd fret with the capo. Same chord progression. Again, you could use that one we talked about at the very beginning of the video with the you can use that here and it sounds just fine. She does some more, she throws in some more notes when she's finger picking in between these little phrases. So hers goes like this. Over and over, same structure, C to G, E minor to D. And we've kind of covered, it's no different than the Luke version, so we're starting here on this C major 7th shape, so you're lifting up your index finger here. Again, our thumb is playing the 5th string, our index is playing the 3rd string, and our middle is playing the 2nd string. You pluck all 3 of those together, then hammer down onto the 2nd fret of that 1st string, and then pluck up on strings 2 and 3 open. So you have, so that's the same. To that G shape, I know not all of these notes are getting played in this G shape, but I think it's just easier on my brain to think G shape with this 4 fingers here. Okay, so she does the same thing. I shouldn't say she does the same thing. Luke Combs does the same thing because Tracy Chapman wrote it. So then she throws in a little, she plays strings 2, 3. So that's Tracy. Luke was this. Oh my goodness, I need to. See? Lower, a little slower, and he kind of takes out the little embellishments that she does. So that little da-da is just strings 2, 3, 2, 3. Then she goes up to the E minor shape. Same thing, it's 3 strings, strings 5, 3, and 2. Index is on fret 7 relative to the capo. Ring is on fret 8 of the 2nd string relative to the capo. And then move that ring finger back down a half step to the 7th fret. And that's also 3 strings. You're kind of cramped here. You're playing open 4, open 3, and then 2nd string 7th fret. And then she throws in a little da-da, strings 2, 3. So from the beginning, over and over. So those little 2 little notes make a big difference. She also has a little variation that does not happen when Luke did his version.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
And that's like, even though it's just one note, well, one string, I should say, and a couple of notes, that's pretty iconic. Like, I remember that part of the song big time. So if you want to do that part, we're doing index finger on the 7th fret relative to the capo, ring finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string relative to that capo. Then you're going to use your pinky to go up to the 10th fret.
Big stretch.
It's, yeah, you got to kind of like, you might have to kind of move your wrist out a little bit to reach in there. So it goes 8, 10, 8, and then we go to the 7th fret, and we're going to pluck the strings 3, 4, 3, and 2. So you have, and then pinky up to the 8th, and then back to the 7. And then for the chorus, for Tracy Chapman, same thing. We're going to do the same strum pattern, down, down, up, down, up. From that C, remember we were C, G, E minor to D. Then we have C, E minor to D, C, E minor, D, twice, and then back into the. there's a reason that it stays with all of us. It's very memorable. Enjoy both those versions. If you're a beginner, kind of stick with that strumming part. If you're a little more further along and want to tackle either version's amazing. I'm partial to the Tracy Chapman version myself. But thanks for watching. Vicky and Maggie and I appreciate your support here on YouTube. We look forward to making these videos for you. We'll see you for the next one. Remember that you're never too old to learn.